due to the salamander's listing as an endangered species, they cannot allow the public to be walking around where they may be apparently harassing or squishing them.
So that's the salamander's favorite area, the scientists believe, is right there below the diving board?
Just upstream from the diving board, right across from the diving board is an area. There's some changes that are happening to Barton Springs Pool.
I love Mike Hanson Archives.
Hello folks, it's Mike Hanson from Mike Hanson Archives. Yes, I'm right here in front of the Elvis Mansion. And I hope you enjoyed tonight's show with the young and enthusiastic Alex Jones from the 1990s. If you'd like to help support this channel, just email us here at this email address or give us a call at 830-672-3089. Otherwise, let's go back to the future with Alex Jones.
We just got done talking to the head of public relations, Jim Hallbrook, down at Austin Parks and Recreation, and he told us how they have to save the salamanders so people can't swim down here where they've been swimming for over 100 years, before that where the Indians were swimming. So let's go on down there and talk to the park police, and who I've heard are very friendly people. Generally, if they catch you swimming in an area you're not supposed to be, or if your dog's swimming where it's not supposed to be. And let's find out how the feds are saving us from ourselves. Enforcing the law. Look at them. How y'all doing? Y'all protecting the salamander? Down here enforcing the federal edict, I see.
Just told here to keep an eye on the project that they're building.
What's the project?
This fence.
Building a fence, huh? To protect the salamanders. Yeah, Jim Holbrook. We were just over at his office.
Yeah, we're...
Then you probably got more information than we do.
You say we probably got more information?
Than we do.
Oh yeah, we know about the feds and their land grabs, getting us used to them telling us how to live for our best interest. But no, you guys are just doing your jobs. So people aren't allowed to swim down here anymore, is what y'all been told.
As far as I know.
People just aren't even allowed to go
Can
down.
I ask who you're with?
Yeah, I'm with KJFK Radio and I have an Access TV show. How you doing?
Doing fine.
Y'all are out here making sure.
42, bro.
Yes, sir.
We're instructed not to speak with the media. We have to. It is just not because of this. It's any issue. That's why he's heading to the house. He's going home now. But that's why we're not giving much information. We're under our general orders say we're not supposed to talk to the media. So
I understand.
That's what's going on. We're not trying to evade your questions, you know. But that's what's going on. I think APD be the same way. You know, they're under. They have a public information officer, and that's probably why there's a lot of chit-chat going on, you know.
Oh, I understand. I understand. It's just funny, in America now we see police everywhere protecting areas that the feds say we can't use. Meanwhile, they're selling crack on East 11th. And I realize y'all are park police, but how many people are in the park police? How many officers?
About 32, I believe.
32
commissioned officers.
Commissioned on the street, and then how many in the bureaucracy?
I don't know what you mean by bureaucracy,
people with desk jobs.
I think just the chief.
Just the chief?
Just one. Mm-hmm.
So 32 people to protect the parks?
Yes, sir.
Well, that seems reasonable. I've actually heard there's some other areas off around in Austin where people aren't allowed to swim.
What kind of areas do you mean? I'm not aware
I've just
of
been
those.
told about friends of mine being in other areas with their dogs and things and being told they can't have dogs swimming.
I haven't heard about those.
What about right down here below? Are they planning to restrict down below the spillway?
I haven't heard about that.
Haven't heard about that?
Yes, sir.
What's your name, sir?
Meglarino, Officer Meglarino.
Officer Meglarino?
Yes, sir.
Nice to meet you, Alex Jones.
Nice to meet you.
Thanks a lot.
You bet.
The lines and things. Is it all right if we go down and just film it?
Sure.
Okay, thanks. You ready? Come on. Well, here we go. the last few days as they construct a fence around the area, a place where people have been swimming for over 100 years, and before that the Indians, as we said earlier. So let's go down and take a look at the area that the EPA is here to keep us safe from ourselves because we're so evil. Let's go.
Hey man, you guys sure you ain't in on this?
Oh yeah, I'm in on it. Yep. Okay.
From this angle, or is he going to come down here?
No. We'll just zoom up to him.
Okay, go down there. Go ahead.
You know, as we walk down here to film this historic area where Austinites have been enjoying nature for a long time, this gentleman out of the clear blue said something that made absolute sense. What'd you say, sir?
First they lock you out, then they lock you up.
First they lock you out, then they lock you up.
That's it.
That's how systems have always worked.
That's how it always works.
That's how it always works.
That's how it always will work.
Thanks a lot.
Yes, you're welcome.
Down there and just get me. Okay, Mike, start with me and then zoom in. Here you have it. As we speak, they're putting in these poles to create a fence around the sunken gardens, which were constructed for people's enjoyment. It's a real shame that we're losing our sovereignty here locally as the country is losing its sovereignty internationally. And with executive orders and other unconstitutional acts, the executive branch is robbing Americans of their birthright. You see, if they can restrict you from using your own parklands, what's next? What else will you accept? This is insanity. And make no mistake, it's aimed directly at private property, watering down property rights, right here in the good old US of A. You know, I have trouble even seeing any salamanders in this pool. Salamanders, a very common amphibian. I would venture to guess, if I could capture one of these salamanders and go compare it with other stream and river salamanders, that you would find that it's a very common salamander. But that would be a federal crime. I would be put in federal prison, as others have been, for what they call endangering endangered species. A Trojan horse to get your private property. You ready? You're talking about right here? Now we're discussing an area which... We were just talking to a lady, and we'll talk to her more in the future, and she says that earlier this year she was here swimming with her son, and they helped save some fish that are getting caught in a crack over here, kind of like what happens to salmon when they go into dams. And of course, you don't hear the EPA trying to fix these fish traps that have been created by the wall falling down here. No, they're just concerned about getting you used to doing what they say. So let's go down here and check this out. Ma'am, is this what you're talking about right here? Right here? I've got somebody's watch if they want it. Okay, we're told that there are cracks in the rock here that creates a powerful suction that small fish get stuck in, and I'm sure a precious salamander could also get stuck in there. And we hope that the EPA, they really care about wildlife, will try to check into this, some of the real threats to wildlife, and not people. But as you can see, this entire area is being fenced off because they say we are causing a problem. You ready? This is the last time that any human, unless you're an environmentalist priest of the modern age, that Austinites or anyone else will be allowed in this area. And it's, again, been used for a long time. People actually built this structure, and no longer will it be allowed for public use. Well, let's go down here and get this and get out of here, because I gotta go. This entire area is being restricted to human use. What's next? We hear that there may even be plans to restrict the spillway area where you're allowed to bring your dogs. Take a look at the lush Eden that the federal government and pencil-necked bureaucrats, the type of people that tattled on you in high school and would try to steal your lunch money, are engaged in.
Hoorah!
Yeah, I'm with the radio station. I also got to act. Come on, let's go.
What radio station?
KJFK. What do you think of this area being fenced off and people not being able to use it?
I think it sucks. I'm from Canada, where people have freedom of speech, freedom to do what they want. And over here, you guys are putting up fences in Austin left and right, man, around the park downtown. Now you're fixing on doing it down here. You're gonna restrict this whole waterway? I don't think so, man. I think the people ought to get up, stand for their rights. Freedom of speech, freedom to go where they want. This is the land of opportunity, this is the land of freedom. You're putting up fences everywhere. What's free?
Well, sir, it's for your best interest, please.
My best interest?
Yes, the government wants to help you. Now give up your private properties next. We're going to help you out of your money.
You want to help me?
Yes.
Let me enjoy myself. Leave me alone.
Sir, you're
keep the places that people enjoy.
What about the university professors that want to control your life?
University professor?
Yeah.
What, you talking about those that are concerned with the salamander?
Yeah.
I think they ought to put them backyard in their stinking pool. They want to observe them. All right?
These salamanders are very rare. They're only on every continent in the planet except for Antarctica.
Yeah, well, I'm pretty close to Antarctica, and I'll vouch for that. There are no lizards there. All right? But we don't need any if they're going to restrict the way we live.
Well, sir, they're very rare. There's only thousands of species of them. They're only all over the place. We must take your property, please.
No, thank you. How about just dump a gallon of chlorine in that bastard and we'll exterminate him once and for all. We can keep on enjoying ourselves.
Well, we don't subscribe to that type of behavior. But, you know, that's how they do it in Russia. They take everybody's rights away and then nobody cares anymore and the whole country goes to crap and everything falls apart. And then you can sit up on top of it, bureaucrats, and control the whole mess. Yes, we know how you operate, slime, and we're going to stop you. Everybody's saying it. The rumor's in the air. And bureaucrats won't give us a straight answer. What's next? Shut down the lower part of Barton Springs where it feeds into Lake Austin? This belongs to the people of Austin. And it's very frightening to me that control freaks that lie to you have control of your minds out there. They should not be shutting down Sunken Gardens, and they should not be restricting Barton Springs and the area that feeds out of it. This has been the Freedom Report. Stay tuned. Turians protecting the King's land. You know, there's nothing new in history with elitists wanting to control property. It's as old as feudalism itself. It's as old as slavery. It's an institution. Teach populations that they don't have access to lands that they pay to maintain, and you've created a public that can be subverted and controlled and manipulated. Let's go, Mike. Earlier, as we first got here, this gentleman called from a distance away, and what he said rings absolutely true. Tell us what you said, sir.
First they lock you out, then they lock you up.
First they lock you out, then they lock you up. Feudalism, my friends, showing us who's boss, who controls the situation. The bureaucrats downtown, the bureaucrats in Washington, not the people of this country. And the way most Americans behave, we deserve what's happening. And someday you'll be paying 30 bucks a pop to go in Barton Springs. And there'll be some elitist, cult-like environmental priestess or priest who has nothing to do with the environment and everything to do with your bank account, making you say some strange incantation. Governments need religions, and modern environmentalism is that religion. Of course, it's controlled by a bunch of transnational banks that want to steal your property, but that's a little bit too intellectual for most Americans, so we'll continue to go on and be slaves. Meanwhile, they'll continue to pillage the third world in the name of environmentalism. Just give up your private property and all your problems will be solved. Maybe they're right. Thanks a lot, man. Take care. Oh, me and her.
You see this picture? People pass by my door to tell me paradise on earth, it looks with water. You know, it's always water. And I don't drink, I don't do drugs, I don't smoke. And I come here and bring my 9.5-year-old because within 2 miles of our home. And you see how special this ring is? It's man-made since 1930s. And if you go to the middle of that water when you sing, you get the echoes all around. And there are people playing drums and guitar here every day. And I'll be 51 years old next month.
But the bureaucrats don't like that. They don't want you to have a good time.
And you know, the last time...
They want you to go to the shopping mall with the cameras watching you.
The last time, some early 20-year-old there, and he said, this is a professional killer because he get hired to go to Hong Kong and foreign places, kill people for lots of money. He said he really need a massage because they know I do alternative healing. So I just massaged him right here on the wall, and I was talking to him. I said, you know how long it takes? Maybe 3,000 diapers, Pampers to change for a mother to raise a child. I said, how do you feel if someone's professional killers kill you? How your mother would feel? I was talking to him the whole time. Before I know it, there was people massaging all along the walls. You know, they weren't gays. They were just normal kids. And it was such a beautiful sight. There was music, there was drums, there were kids, there were dogs, and they were massaging, touching, and they really looked like a paradise on earth.
But this is free. We must shut it down.
I know, you'll be the cynical one. I'm
being sarcastic. I'm
yes,
illustrating absurd.
Yes, okay, here, my statement is, a water hole is where human race congregates and where all culture mingles and starts. You know?
No, it's shopping malls. Go ahead.
And I'm an environmentalist, you know, I have 100% no garbage in my household. Okay? I can live without money, without electricity, without refrigerator. I spent 25 years in the Eastern world, 25 years in the Western world. And I have something to say. This should stay open.
It says park police over here, Mike.
I was down here earlier and passed out some numbers to people who would want to do something besides just...
Hi, how you doing?
Hi, looking for Jim?
Yeah, my name's Alex Jones, and my friends and others and people have been calling me about what area below Barton Springs that they're going to be closing.
Okay, can you hold for a moment?
Sure.
Debbie Kelton's office, can you hold, please? You can see if Jim...
What's his first name?
Okay, can I have your name?
Howdy.
Hey, what's your name, sir?
Jim Halbrook.
Jim Halbrook. I'm Alex Jones from KJFK Radio.
Yeah,
also
I've
have
talked to you before.
Hey, Access TV show. When did I talk to you?
What was the... Because I was on KJFK one time doing
Shannon Burke show?
Yeah, Blowing Smoke.
Shannon Burke.
And then I think I talked to you on another issue.
Oh, cool.
And I had to get it recorded because I couldn't go to his show. It was being
Yeah.
broadcast from Central Market. I
That's
think
right.
When we talked.
Can we just spend a few minutes with you and ask you about what area down below Barton Springs is getting closed?
Yeah, sure. Sure.
Cool.
You're going to just go
Yeah.
into the office or go outside? Doesn't matter to me.
Nice and cool in here. I just came down here to find out exactly what the rumors are and what I've been hearing about an area below Barton Springs being closed to the public.
There is an area that is salamander habitat at Sunken Gardens, which is the concentric stone rings
Yes.
that are downstream from Barton Springs, that the Environmental and Conservation Services Department has decided they need to put a fence around to keep litter, debris, and people from intruding upon that salamander habitat.
Well, I know that those springs are natural, but aren't the gardens themselves man-made?
The gardens themselves are man-made. It's the concentric walls. And the area that I've learned that they're looking at putting them in would come in basically right at the second ring. You know, you got your top ring, and then you got a second ring, and then the third ring is the little spring area. And putting the fence there after the second ring and before the third one, and then fencing off the water area, which is the salamander habitat, and bringing that fence down from the spring to where the spring flows to the trail itself.
I had heard also that it was to keep some of the vagrants and people from congregating down there at night.
That's not true, because obviously we're sitting here with an endangered species, and if that was the case, if that was a problem, one, we wouldn't deal with a problem that way, and you would be seeing fences in other places. That's no. Now the fence is there. The reason for the fence is for salamander habitat.
Yeah. Why then have they not shut down Barton Springs Pool proper if it's salamander habitat, but they're shutting down some smaller springs?
They have roped off areas of Barton Springs Pool and restricted and limited, actually restricted, no access to some of the areas. And those areas, the fissures right next to the diving board, will no longer have any public access to them because the springs are coming up right there. And due to the salamanders listing as an endangered species, they cannot allow the public to be walking around where they may be apparently harassing or squishing them.
So that's the salamander's favorite area, the scientists believe, is right there below the diving board?
Just upstream from the diving board, right across from the diving board is an area. There's some changes that are happening to Barton Springs Pool in getting the 10A permit that have been proposed. One of the changes is the beach area, deepening it so that there's less chance of salamanders being treaded on by swimmers.
So there's actually going to be some, perhaps some construction or some altering of the pool?
There seems to be, for environmental reasons, a lot of proposed changes to the Barton Springs area, including Sunken Gardens.
Wasn't the salamander originally, I mean, this is a whole other debate in and of itself, but we had Lakeline Mall being held up because of a cave beetle. I'm sure you remember that, don't you?
Yeah, yeah.
And then it was found that the beetle was actually all over the place. Do you remember that? Or?
I remember Lakeline Mall still got built. I'm not really,
Yes.
I'm not familiar with all of the.
Well, the only point I'm trying to make, sir, is that either I understand that people needed a reason to save Barton Springs. I've been swimming there since I was a little kid, but there are salamanders all over the country, tens of thousands of different subspecies and variations. One salamander might have a tail that's a millimeter longer and might have 2 black spots on its back rather than 1. This is species variation. You will have, say, some pools in the mountains of Arizona which are spring fed, where you'll have a type of fish that has a different color spot, and actually that's stopped construction and development, and actually made people that have lived in Arizona for hundreds of years have had to move out of their property. Of course, they were paid for it, for fish that are really can't even mate with other fish, but since they're localized to a specific pool and have a few characteristics that are different. I just have a lot of problems with the so-called science behind this, because I've seen so much corruption. I don't mean you personally. I know you're just a public information officer. People that mean well go out and find something like the spotted owl, say, because most people don't want to just clear cut that beautiful timber, destroy our old growth forest. So they go and say, well, this is hurting this owl, and then later they find out that the owl could actually live in barns and many other places. Species have a lot of. That's like we have parakeets. The monk parakeets live right down here, and monk parakeets have never lived in this part.
Yeah, they're definitely an exotic.
Of North America. They're in Guatemala and southern Mexico, but because of the climate changes, which are either cyclical or, I mean, I don't mean to be diatribing. It's just that I've heard about the Environmental Protection Agency now trying to actually classify some forms of bacteria as endangered down in the Houston Ship Channel and other areas, and it seems like a Trojan horse. So I don't mean to be diatribing. This probably won't even be on the air. I'm just trying to get to the point of where you understand where I'm coming from, sir, is that I don't understand why we're allowing more and more of our properties, public lands, to be restricted in the name of things like a salamander. Do you have any of the Environmental Protection Agency's information about the salamander?
That information and the questions that you're really presenting, which are good questions, really need to go to Robert Hanson, who's the endangered species biologist on staff who's dealing with this issue.
Is he here?
No, he's in a different building, but I'll be glad to give you his phone number.
I'm out. Yeah. I mean, it's just that I heard all about Barton Springs over and over again. And I heard about how we should do this and we should do that. And then they said, well, the people in the springs are hurting the salamander. And if we're really going to be honest about it, we need to just shut the springs down. See, that's not going to happen because people want to use it.
And they've been using it for 69 years. But again, with the questions about the species and the habitat, I really have to refer you to the Environmental Conservation Services Department, because they're who we're getting basically our instruction from to some degree on this as far as what needs to be done. And we're just trying to keep the pools and places open and operational.
And so basically y'all are just doing what you're told.
Yes.
And then you're just, it's Mr. Holbrook, right?
Yeah, yeah. We're doing what we're being told to do to comply with environmental laws.
So Mr. Holbrook, all you're really doing is, you're the public information officer here in Austin for Parks and Recreation.
Right.
And you're just saying, hey, the Environmental Protection Agency is saying that the salamanders are endangered. So they're going to...
Yeah, and they're telling us, stop doing this, start doing this. We held up some cleanings, and then we got permits the city got the permits to allow our department to go in and clean the pool again while they monitored our cleaning efforts. And while they were monitoring, they were evaluating what works, what doesn't work, what harms the salamander, what doesn't harm the salamander.
Do those permits cost money?
And how we can change. You need to talk to Robert Hanson. My guess is that the money that it costs is basically in staff time.
Why can't Austin have a referendum on the salamander, or why can't Austin do its own work, or why can't Texas? Why do we need the Environmental Protection Agency and Carol Browner to do that for us?
That's a environmental question that I can't answer. I don't have your information on that one. I don't know how the federal regulations work on that.
So, Mr. Holbrook, basically what you're saying is they're going to shut down the sunken gardens areas, the pools that have water in them.
Right. Which would be the third ring is the pool area, and then the outflow to the trail itself.
Because the salamanders live in there.
Because the salamanders are living there.
And people are stepping on them.
And yeah, it's a matter of people being in the salamander habitat, just like they roped off the areas in Barton Springs, as well as other things that come with people, the trash that gets in there and stuff like that.
So it's just people. How old are the sunken gardens? When were they first constructed?
I believe that they were built by the CCC, one of the Depression area work corps, as a lot of the things in Circle Park were.
It has the look of a Roosevelt program.
Yeah, it's a beautiful old structure.
So basically, well, I guess that's all my questions then, Mr. Holbrook. It just comes down to the Environmental Protection Agency is allowing Barton Springs, in their graciousness, in their splendidness, to keep the parks open. But there's going to be some restrictions. Certain areas are going to be shut down.
That's correct.
Roped off, and they may actually alter the depth of the pool.
That's correct.
In some areas,
and I have
so
something
that the
to
salamanders
say.
can live.
This should stay open because our medical industry, our government industry, is not dealing with the homeless people on the root, the ground root level, to deal with their blood sugar, to settle their chemistry and blood sugar where the homeless people gathers. It should be people there to deal with their blood sugar and to help them. And all the other existing organizations is not helping them to do that. And this is their last of oasis here, because that's the only thing healing for them to jump in, to get rid of their alcohol and jump out. I stay away from them because they might trip on my feet and so forth. And this place, since the 30s, man-made.
Yeah.
And the salamander was once disturbed already. And in the winter, my son and I will jump in this cold water, trying to get the crawfish's claws tight and pull them straight out so we don't yank them. They were still alive. I can't imagine how many salamanders got sucked in there.
Oh, you say there's a crack in the wall?
Many cracks on the wall. It sucks my hair right through it. I had to pull all the way back. And I feel.
So you're saying the government's not really concerned about the welfare of the salamanders? And...
No. See, the focus point should be fixing the walls so it's not detrimental to the marine biology in this pond. You know? And then the next flood comes, the wall gonna be so expensive to fix it. Because right now you still can fix it with little money, maybe for the same money they're using the fence.
Okay, ma'am, listen, we gotta go, but thanks for thanks for the information.
Yes, thank you for taking the interest.
Hey, I'm glad.
You know, and I want to give you this.
Sure. Go ahead. Ma'am, what's your name again?
My name is Wingbo.
Wingbo.
W-I-N-G-B-O-W, Sun. Sun stands for Servant of Mother Earth.
Hey, thanks a lot.
Yes,
Well,
thank you.
folks, it's Mike Hanson here with a little breaking news on the 29th of January 2022 Trump rally. And Mr. Trump, our ex-president, mentioned our beautiful and smart mayor, Connie Kassir. That's a really big honor. All right, here it is, a little breaking news.
A lot of power, that guy. A lot of power. Gonzales Mayor, Connie Kassir. Connie Kassir, thank you. Thanks, Connie. Good luck in your race. And Texas GOP chair, he's done a fantastic. Thanks, Connie.
Let's hear it
Gonzales
again.
Mayor, Connie Kassir. Connie Kassir, thank you. Thanks, Connie. Good luck in your race. And that guy. A lot of power. Gonzales Mayor, Connie Kassir. Connie Kassir, thank you. Thanks, Connie. Good luck in your race. And Texas GOP chair, he's done a fantastic.
That's very much of an honor to have him mention your name. All righty, there you go. One more little bit of news here on January 29th, 2022. Trump mentions part of my heritage, Davy Crockett, and he also mentions the Come and Take It in Gonzales, Texas. So here we go.
You say our country has never seen anything like it. But no matter how big or powerful these corrupt radicals may be, you must never forget our nation does not belong to them. Our nation belongs to you. Oh dear. This is your home, this is your heritage, and our American liberty is your God-given right. From Houston to Austin, from Dallas to El Paso, from the Red River to the Rio Grande, the people of Texas live and breathe the fierce spirit of independence, and the Lone Star State has always embraced the cause of American freedom like no one else or like no place else. This is the state where William Travis, James Bowie, and Davy Crockett made their last stand at the Alamo. I love the Alamo. This is the state where a small band of patriots from the Battle of Gonzales, armed with a single cannon, stared down a foreign army that was so powerful and declared, come and take it.
Wow, come and take it.
And Texas is the state where Texas is the state foreign army that was so powerful and declared, come and
take it.
And Texas is the state where generations of farmers and ranchers and sheriffs and lawmen, cowboys and cattleheads, prospectors, pioneers helped build up the greatest nation in the history of the world, and we will never let any socialist or communist movement take that away from us. There is no mountain we cannot climb. There is...
Wow. Come and take it. Gonzales, Texas. How much better can you get?
This is what I live for.